Good morning. Well, it's morning right now. It might not be morning when you watch this, but anyways, I am doing some watercolor this morning because I have some verses that I want to work on. And because fall is coming quickly, I decided I wanted some color. So the watercolor paper I am using, I got at Walmart, and it works. I don't think it's anything special, but there you go. You don't need anything special, just some paper. Even book page I find works really well with watercolor. So here is my 9 by 12 page. And to start with, I'm just going to throw down some color. So I will speed this up because this is just the preparation for my page. Alright, so I used a sea sponge to just move some color around. I picked it up where I had too much, and then I deposited around the page just to blend it a little bit more. Each page is going to be different. I have already made a different page that has already dried, and so I will pick up on that page and we will do some painting. So it's a little bit warped and I didn't want to iron it, so we'll just work with what we have. So I take a brush that I like. Any size will do, really. Depends what you like to work with. Just putting some water in my watercolors to wake them up. And then I'm just gonna start painting some leaves, different kinds. I'm also gonna leave some space in between the leaves so that I can come back later and draw some stuff in there. This is kind of like a mixed media? Yeah, where you use different things like paints, watercolor paints, stencils. You could use stencils. I didn't use stencils, I use a stamp. So anyways, I start and I can barely see what that leaf is there, but that's kind of the idea I'm going for here, is just to put in some like background shapes and then slowly start to fill up the page and then gradually get darker with my colors. And again, this is process, so I'm not going to make you watch me real time do this whole thing. But I can fast forward this part too, and then you can kind of follow along and get the idea. Alright, so that should give you a rough idea of what I did. Then after I put in all the leaves that I wanted, I let it dry. I could use a heat tool, but I won't because I have another that I can move on to. So after I let it dry, then I drew in with a Sharpie that wouldn't bleed. What I did was I outlined all the leaves. I also drew in some smaller leaves, and then I used a stamp with even different smaller leaves and put them in between the leaves that I had. So it made it quite full. You don't have to go as full as I did, but that's what I wanted to do. And so then comes the real project of today. So I will switch over. So from my 9 by 12, this is what I cut. Let's see. These pieces are 4.5 inches this way and about almost 6 inches So almost 4 by 6, 4.5 by 6. And then these I want to use to make tags today. These are 3 inches by 6, I believe. So I have 2 of those because I am making 2 journals after all. And then basically what I had left was these 2 small pieces. And I'll probably use these to punch circles out of, and then use them for like labels and that later on. So you'll be seeing a lot of this pattern probably from me. For my page in my journal today was another project. I'll just explain what I did. This is a piece of scrapbook paper that was very thin, and so to make it a little sturdier, I did paste some scripture verses that I had written out on, you know, loose leaf paper. So I wrote out scripture, and then I coffee dyed them, and then I tore them into smaller pieces just to give some variety. Then I put reinforcements, and so that's going to be the back of my page. So this will be the front of my page. And so what I'm planning to do is kind of make that a pocket. Very colorful, yes? And then I'm going to make a tag out of this. And I wasn't sure what size I was going to end up wanting to use, so I did make several. The verse is done in a fancy font that I just downloaded, and I did use the King James Version. So if you like the fancy font and you want a copy of this, you can go to my Ko-fi page and download that for free. And then you can cut whichever ones you like. So that's available for you. So then I want to start working on this. So what I need is to attach this page or this piece onto that page. And I need to make a tag. And I'm going to ink that just to give it a little more definition. It's not a necessary thing, but I enjoy the look that it gives me. Just kind of helps it to blend in a little bit and not stand out quite so much. I want it to look like one page, not just a bunch of things stuck to a page, if you know what I mean. And I think I'm going to use my double-sided tape. I could use glue, but this is so much faster. Excuse the nice watercolor on my hands there. So for the pocket, we need to put adhesive on 3 sides. I'm going to leave the top open to put the tag in. Of course, this tag could also be used as a bookmark. I contemplated whether I should make a bookmark. I decided I wanted something a little bigger. But that smaller version of the verses would be good for bookmarks. These verses have been very foundational for my walk with the Lord. I was talking with my husband yesterday, and we were kind of in awe with the fact that we've been married for however many years, 15 roughly, and during that time we were always wanting to walk with the Lord and for Him to show us how to go, and looking for direction, and many times wondering if we were missing it. And then yesterday we're like, you know, we may have gone weird ways sometimes, not purposely, but thinking that He was leading us, and we ended up in some strange places where we thought we would find truth, and then He would lead us out, and then we would end up somewhere else, and again He would lead us out, and it was like, are we never going to come to a knowledge of the truth? Because we felt like we were learning, and it wasn't getting us anywhere. So we did finally recently feel like, okay, He wants us to do something that looks a little different, but since we made this decision to walk away from the last place we were at, He's shown us a lot. And so that's where the verses come in. Trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and lean not unto thine own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge Him, and He shall direct thy paths. So for me, this means, you know, you trust in Him. You try not to take yourself too seriously or your understanding. You have to leave room for Him to show you things. You acknowledge Him in all your ways. So whatever you do, you put Him first and you ask Him about stuff, and He shall direct thy paths. He has His part, we have our part. There's 3 things that we're supposed to do in this. I underlined them. Our job is to trust, to lean not on our own understanding, and then to acknowledge Him. And He has one thing that He will do, and that is He directs your path if you do all those things, right? So I use bigger scissors. So He will direct our paths, even sometimes when it doesn't look like we're being led or feel like we're being led. He is definitely leading if you want Him to. So I'm going to put this verse on the back of this tag, and then I'm going to decide how I'm going to cut this, because it so happens that I could cut too much off. Put that to the side for now. Tape goes on this side. I am aware that sometimes when I start talking about the verses, I kind of focus on what I'm saying and what He's shown me, and then I kind of lose track of what I'm doing here. So I probably will get better at that, but I'm not really gonna apologize too much, because His word is a big part of my life, so I'm okay with it taking center stage. After all, this is all about Him. So alright, so I have the tape on, and I'm going to peel that back, she says. Take my sharp thing here. Well, I must make sure that everything is stuck, otherwise the top layer won't peel either. must be careful with the sharp edges. And I want to, since this is non-directional, I want to cover up the ugly part here. And then cut that. Just make a template. I'll make a nice scrap. Like so. I could cut a little more off there if I wanted to. Do I want to? Sure. I do want to make sure that it is big enough to stick out the top there though. Alright, it will. I will probably cut it flush with this. And then hole punch in the center. Eyeball it. I can't see because it's at the bottom there. So I have to guess. Oh, well that would help, wouldn't it? Turn it right side up. There we go. He uses the foolish things to confound the wise. And I'm not saying I'm wise. I'm saying he uses me anyways. All right, I was going to put some ribbon in there. All right, found it. This is pretty old. I don't remember. Fabricland, there we go. A long time ago. I wanted this one because it's got some shiny elements. Oh, I forgot to mention, I also dropped some spatters of gold in there. Because, you know, I like gold. Shiny things. Probably because we're going to end up walking on streets of gold. And that's what's going to be. So I don't know how big or how long I want this, but let's see. Should probably put a reinforcement on there as well. Watercolor tends not to be the strongest. I'll use some white because the paper's white. Again, these are labels, so I just roughly make one. That should do. All right, and then with the ribbon. Yeah, I don't usually tie a bow, and I'm not sure why I took so much ribbon, but anyways, what I usually end up just doing is feeding that through and then taking the loose parts, the ends, and then pulling that tight. Sometimes what I'll do is use my hot glue gun and put some glue right there to hold it tight. I might do that later, but for now it looks like it works. Alright, so I should have inked the tag before I did all that. Again, it just goes to the look of the page. It adds a little bit of interest. And if you have crooked lines from cutting, it will hide some of that imperfection. And also, if you see the edge of the paper there is white, and so the inking just helps to make it a little more cohesive, I think. Just loosen that up a bit and get some in there too. And I've also seen where people will ink their ribbons. This one's kind of brown already, so it doesn't need a whole lot. Alright, so there. And then this is my page. And there is my tag that goes in. Now I could further decorate this. What I also could do is put in some more paper for those who like to journal. What else could I do? I could even take one of these small ones, if I really wanted to, and put this on the front here. It's kind of white though, so I'm not sure how well it... I kind of did the whole thing for the leaves. I wanted to have a project where I could use these leaves. That tag is very snug in there, which is, I mean, it fits and it goes in, but just so you know, it is kind of, it's not going to fall out, so. What else? What else? Oh. I stamped, you know that watercolor thing I did? Well, I had done a different page with pinks and oranges, yellows, and then I went heavier with the gold, and I kind of, it was very wet, so I just made it pretty intense looking, and I wasn't quite sure how to use that up. So what I did was I stamped some leaves on there, and then I kind of, not fussy cut, but loosely cut around the leaves. And I was just thinking, because of fall, this might look kind of cool. Would add some more interest to the page. Would have to attach them away from the tag opening, but something like that adds a little more color, and we know how colorful fall can be. So let's see, what will I use to attach that? Maybe this glue, my PVA glue, just because I've got different things, textures going on. This is a smooth, shiny. This is like a watercolor. This is a watercolor. And that pin is doing its job. Good thing. This glue would normally dry clear, but with all the rusting going on in there, it probably would dry an orangey color. Okay, so we'll do that one there. Kind of adds to the idea of the falling leaves, I think. Just wanted a different angle. too, that way I can cover up some of the leaves I'm not too thrilled with that I painted, because I am no expert. I like color, and this seemed like an easy project, so I've been practicing it a lot because I do enjoy drawing leaves, and even outside I'm totally into the changing colors and whatnot, so it fits with my personality, this project, for sure. And may as well do what we like, right? Because he works with our personalities, so we shouldn't be too afraid to let them show through our work. In fact, I think he would like that. So I'm just flattening the leaves there. And of course, you have your own variation of this project, of course. Do what you like. The important thing is we're in the Word, and we're acknowledging Him in all our ways. And so today, I acknowledge Him. Alright, so that is the completed page. I'm going to call that done. And I hope you did enjoy that. Hope you are inspired to take His word to heart. Alright, so I will see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.